Hello, hello. I'm back. I'm a little bit early, which is so rare for me. Typically, I am late on Wednesday nights, but things are going good. I'm not late for once. So, we are going to talk about day 11, which really lived up to the hype train. A lot of times, this is pretty standard practice for us. We'll go through the matches, our highlight matches for the day, and one or two is really good, and then the rest are stinkers for whatever reason. Or they're okay, but they really don't go as far as they could. But today, every single match, including a few others that weren't on the docket, were pretty entertaining. Even the final match of the day, which I expected to be just so lackluster, was quite charming, we'll say. Monsters here. Maegashira Uprising. That's right. This is their time. While all of the top rankers have been crushing them for the last 2 years, this is their time to shine, get stronger, get some confidence, and come in ready to fight those injured top guys. It's going to be a whole new day. You know me, I like creating stories. But anyway. So I'm going to do what I always do, which is go through my thoughts on the day, and then I will go to your chat. Bob says, I am here. Excellent stuff, Bob. And day 11 was peak, I say. It was the most exciting day 11 I have ever seen. Typically, it's where day 12 starts to really solidify this thing. Today, chef's kiss. Kirishima putting in the work this year. Kirishima bouncing back. Kirishima doing what the top guy is supposed to do. All right. I don't know if you've seen the day 12 matchups yet, but are we in for more peak, I say. No, I decided I will react to day 12 matches with you guys. So I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to see him for the first time tonight with you guys. Kitty had no trouble with Waka. I have some thoughts on that, but we'll get there. Let me go through my whole spiel and we'll get there. So Enho unfortunately loses again today. He's struggling for that Kachikoshi. You know he wants it bad. I don't think it's unfair to say that many people were just hoping Enho would be able to fight at all. Here he is going for his Kachikoshi after him being back in Jiro for the first time in years. But, I mean, he had Kazekano, 10-1, very likely to win this Yusho, overpowers him by quite a bit. So, no shame in the loss today. Just hopefully he gets it tomorrow and we don't have to think about it much long before that. I wonder if we will get a he only beat Rikishi ranked lower than him comment if Kitty wins and starts his rope run. I don't think so. I mean, there's probably some people that really don't like him, so they'll go that route, but people just do that stuff to people they really don't like, the Hoshuryus of the world. Even, I don't know. I can't think of who else is I hate that guy. But I don't feel like Kirishima has that level where people are going to go at him. And who has been put up against the Yusho contenders and is looking solid, nothing to be concerned about. No, but I would just like to get that win out of the way. Yes, we most certainly got those comments with Takakeisho. Yes. That's how we all became friends here on 42 Opinions, because the hate was real. So yes, and many of us transferred from Takakeisho to Hoshuryu, so we never get out of it. It's just never ending. But yeah, I don't see Kirishima as the type that people want to go after. Maybe a little bit if he gets overhyped, but I think people understand who Kirishima is, and the expectations aren't super high. It's he's already done his thing. He's already been Ozeki once. This is his second time around. No one is, no one in the fandom anyway is yes, he's going to get Yokozuna. We're just kind of going for the ride. But anyway, Tamawashi, I have to say, and I meant to say this yesterday, Tamawashi, the only 2-9 you're ever going to see that just gets this emphatic celebration beating a hapless Kimbozan. I mean, yesterday Murray Johnson was like screaming. Today, it was Ross Mihara, like just the excitement, the elation, the crowd's going crazy, and it's like this is just like any other match at the bottom of the Banzuke, except Tamawashi is beloved. Honestly, Kambozan was an equal opponent, and Tamawashi came through, so I think this is really encouraging. He's bouncing back. Maybe he can rest up, and we're not losing him yet, but we'll have to see. It's literally take it day by day. Hatsuyama just gave up and stepped out. That's why you're O's, bro. Listen, Hatsuyama just, he's not ready for the big time. He's not even ready for Juryo. I feel so bad for him, but he just gets walked right out. It's a shame. Kazukano has a clear shot to the Yusho, either that or a crazy 11-4 playoff, I feel. Kazuma, a little too shaky. I don't think he wins out, even though I would love a Yusho from him. I do think Kazukano looks strong from the few matches I've seen, and I expect him to take it. Kazukano could math into Makauchi, although I doubt he gets it without both 14 wins and some luck. Let's see how he finishes out. Like, if he wins very dominantly, they may make a case for him. It's so iffy because they get burned every once in a while and they get bitter and they'll drop him at a Juryo 1. But let's just see. If he gives them the material, they may let him come up. Tamawashi has to win the rest of his matches to get saved or rely on Banzuke luck. I'm sure he will have some Banzuke luck. I still retain the opinion that Taki Keisho is, at least statistically speaking, amongst the best sumo wrestlers of all time that fell short of Yokozuna. I'm with you there, and I don't think that's my bias. I mean, he really was an awesome fighter going against the top guys, including Hakuho. Obviously not Hakuho at his absolute peak, but still, Hakuho was winning, every Yusho that he was in pretty much. And Taki Keisho withstood that. And, took four Yusho at the end of the day. Okay, so now Ura Wakanosho. This was a hard match for me because I'm usually rooting for Ura. In this case, I was rooting for Wakanosho. I mean, Wakanosho did everything he was supposed to do. But here's, an example of he just needs to experience how difficult it is to bend Ura. Like, how he has to physically feel the back-bending prowess of Ura. So he bends him all the way back like people have done before. Ura slips out of the thrusts and beautiful katatsukashi. And Ura is looking so pumped. Kachikoshi, the crowd's going wild. This is the Ura that, he could get more wins. He could get 2 more wins. Double-digit Ura wins. This is going to be something else. I felt bad for Wakanosho. I'm sure he got the scouting report from his coach. But like I said, you have to experience it. You can watch him do the back bend. You can expect it to come. But you can't realize how hard you really need to push him or where you need to push him. Because it just defies all logic. So he'll have a plan for the next time he faces him. Which might be a while. Because Ura's going to probably shoot right up. Yes, Michael, I would have him tied with Takayasu since Takayasu has a slight edge over him in stats other than Yusho, but health, of course, is a huge factor for both of them when in their primes. Yeah, we found out at the end of Taki Keisho's career that he had that neck problem his entire career. There was never a healthy Taki Keisho. We just had the illusion that there was. Wakanosho failed to account for Ura's inhumane spine, understandable loss. He still looks good. He still looks like a guy who belongs in the top division, no questions about it. You have to get as low as Ura to push him out. Wakanosho's inexperience really showed here. Yeah, this is just something that people can tell you. You can write it down. You can have a plan. You just have to be in the match, experience it. He'll know for next time. Double digit and more? Triple? Well, I don't want to go there, but boy, would that be something. Could you imagine a playoff between Ura and Tobizaru for the Yusho? Now that'd be something else. I don't think Kirishima's going to allow that, but we can dream, can't we? Quackadoo. W. Kitty. Kitty's looking good. 100 wins for Ura. Oh, is he coming up on his 100 wins, or was today his 100 wins? Tell me. I don't know. Okay, so Fuji Ryoga versus Hakuno Fuji. So Fuji Ryoga has the definitive bulk advantage here. So they're sort of grappling in the center of the ring. And, you know, I wouldn't say Fuji Ryoga was doing the lean, but he was definitely trying to take some stamina away. But Hakuno Fuji turned the tables in the grapple and just tosses him down. This is the type of fighter I expected to see more of. I really want to call him Ochi. When he first came up, this was the type of skill that he has and the power that's been just lost in all the sea of injuries. So it's nice to see him showing off, basically. He's one of the Maegashira uprising here. So now Hakuno Fuji is 8-3 and Fuji Ryoga is 8-3. Definitely not out of this race by any means. Then we had Asanoyama versus Tobizaru. I knew. I just felt in my gut that Tobizaru was going to take this, and he was going to take it in sort of a sneaky way, and it did play out that way. So Asanoyama had the 4-1 advantage in their head-to-head. And when the match started, he was very patient and very confident. He's sort of containing Tobizaru's flailiness, and you could see he's just carefully walking him to the edge. Probably thinks he's got this thing nailed. And then Tobizaru sort of wiggles out of the grip, slips to the side, and then just pulls him down. And it had to be shocking for Asanoyama, but that's the kind of sumo you can expect from Tobizaru. Here we are, Tobizaru 9-2, guys. We'll get more in depth about this when I get through my whole spiel. Ura versus Tobizaru is the ending too based for us to deserve. Oh, man. I think a lot of foreign fans would be pumped. Obviously, a lot of Japanese would too, but Ura and Tobizaru are very popular overseas. Speaking of which, Koto Eho as the dark horse thus far was not expected. Not even close to expected. But now, after this tournament, I will always have my eye on him. He is one cool customer. You should have heard my reaction to Asanoyama versus Tobizaru live. Oh, I would have loved it. I wish we could have all watched it together. If there wasn't all this copyright stuff, I would watch these matches together. But anyway, we'll have to be content talking about it after the fact. So speaking of which, Oshoma versus Koto Eho. So Koto Eho had the back of the Mawashi, and he sort of got himself, obviously he was going for some type of pivot throw or an okuridashi, but he sort of got into an awkward position. They both are trying to use their leg for leverage, but then they go down together. When I looked at the slow motion replay, Koto Eho actually pulls his foot back from the brink while falling. Excellent instinct. Those little things like that, when you're seeing a brand new, obviously it's not his first time in the top division, but close enough. You're seeing a brand new fighter. If he's got that kind of instinct and that kind of training, I mean, that just speaks volumes for his ability. Now, granted, he's in a stable with Koto Shoho, Koto Zakura. Here's where your stable mates really matter. They're going to give you all those particular pointers. You're going to get to do interesting things in training. But kudos to Koto Eho for having such a good ring sense and being badass at the same time. Hello, JJ. He says, yes. Koto Eho seems to have a spark of something special. He's got the attitude of a true gladiator. He does, and I didn't have him on my radar at all. And I think, unfortunately, it's because of Koto Shoho. When Koto Shoho first showed up years ago, I had that feeling about him, and then he got injured almost right away. Popped down to Jirio, came back up, and he's meandered. He's shown signs and flashes of greatness, but then whatever. Koto Eho, boy, I'm glad, nobody listens, in the Japanese world, because what a burn this is, but Koto Eho was looking the way I thought Koto Shoho should. So, little brother is really upstaging. But we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll bring his brother along. In before Koto Eho rises to the top of the division, then gets hurt like his brother did early in his career. So, I'm trying to understand this. Either I have reading comprehension problems or something. In before Koto Eho rises to the top of the division, then gets... Oh, you're just predicting the possibility of this. Well, hey, we've seen it happen so many times now. I don't like to get too excited. When anybody predicts great things, like this is guaranteed that this guy's Yokozuna, this guy's Ozeki, I always say it's potential because of things like injuries. It's just Tomokaze. That's all I'm going to say. Tomokaze. If you guys could have seen him, some of you have, but for those who didn't, Tomokaze was a beast of a fighter. You would never know that today. I digress. So, Gonoyama versus Ichi Yamamoto. Oh boy, was this such a great match. So heartbreaking for Gonoyama, but once again, Ichi Yamamoto, the score never fully captures how hard this man fights. So Gono went for that typical push all the way up, pull down, which kind of sent Ichi Yamamoto flying across the dojo, but he recovered so quickly. He comes right back at him. They are like in this sort of grappling, scrapping thing. He gets him to the center, and then he pulls him down. And I'm sure Gonoyama's heart was in his feet because he was so close. He's still in this thing, obviously. 9-2, 8-3. It's anybody's game, but you don't want to lose matches at this time, like day 11s, day 12s, because it always comes down to one win. You know, one win is the difference between being in the playoff or sitting on the side. So Gono might really regret this match as time goes on. Now, once again, like I said, all of these matches were hype matches, and they lived it up to exactly what I had hoped. Yoshino Fuji versus Hiraomi. So here you have Hiraomi, who not only is going to hit him hard on the Tachiai, but he is going to fight him until his absolute last breath. And Yoshino Fuji only matches energy. Like, he will go above and beyond whatever energy is given to him. So, as predicted, Hiraomi hits real hard at the Tachiai. Yoshino Fuji just sort of comes right back at him. They're grappling for the belt. Hiraomi and Yoshino Fuji each get a one-handed belt grip. The grip breaks. They sort of break up. Then they get back to the center. Hiraomi has got the underarm grip, but Yoshino Fuji is he's so big up top. It was so easy for him to break that grip. He gets the leverage, out-muscles him. Yoshino Fuji is one beast of a man. They both go down, but obviously Yoshino Fuji is the one who, is the one on top. So this is just another example, unfortunately, for Hiraomi. Another guy whose record is not going to tell the story. He fights so freaking hard and loses. Some guys, they just lose. That is not Hiraomi. His losses are as hard fought as his wins. Don't count out Koto Shoho yet. The future could still be bright for him. I'm not counting him out. I'm just saying brother is starting to outshine him. I'm hoping the competitiveness of that will actually bring Koto Shoho to the next level. Big Bro still managed to make Sekiwake in spite of all that. Of course. Tobizaro did a whole 180 on the bells. Now, I'm not used to Tobizaro per se fighting the way he did, but I'm always used to some surprise from him. And I knew he had tricks up his sleeve for Asanoyama. Maria predicted the Ichi Yamamoto upset. Could a come from behind Kachikoshi be in the works? Absolutely it could be. Ichi Yamamoto has not taken his foot off the gas. He is fighting hard in every single match. You have to hope that results in good things. I mean, that's all you can do. I think an 8-7 is at least possible. And now Kotozakura is Kataban status. Yes, we will get to him in a moment. We only have 2 more matches that I wanted to talk about. GD Big M, I can't believe you've completely given up all hope on Koto Shoho. I didn't say I gave up all hope on Koto Shoho. My words are being turned against me. I'm just saying, brother's outshining him. Do I think Koto Shoho can overcome this? Maybe. So that's not giving up all hope. I'm just saying it's time to put up or shut up. Or else brother's going to take it. Lord Shodai. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about Shodai. Hiraomi, I think, has lost his place a bit. He's a small guy who does belt sumo and false starts a lot, but there are others better at belt work and others better at exploiting false starts. Yeah, he does get a lot of flack for that, doesn't he? Well, the thing is, you can't say that the man doesn't try. And he's strong and he's got great stamina. So he hangs in these matches. So he could eventually be outshined by a whole bunch of guys, but for now, he's holding his place steadily. He's almost got like a Meisei vibe to him when Meisei was not hurt. Okay, so Kirishima versus Wakataka Kage. This would be the only match that I wouldn't say it was a disappointment, but it was not the back and forth that I expected, and I think I know why. So Kirishima was very aggressive from the start of the Tachiai. I was just talking about last night how defensive and reactive he is, and here he goes showing me the complete other side of his sumo. Wakataka Kage looked out of energy right away. He did put up a good fight. That elbow seems to be more taped than it was the day before. I have a bad feeling Atami Fuji has done it again, and the elbow is really screwed up. Kirishima lifted Wakataka Kage like it was nothing, and he showed himself to be the top guy. So after a really unfortunate loss against Shodai, it happens, Kirishima just picks up where he left off. He's looking great. This is the way you want to be if you're trying to claim a Yusho. I still don't think that says that he's going to win. That has not been proven to me at this point, but he's looking great, and it's looking very probable that he is going to win this thing. Kitty won in front of Cockroach. Cockroach? Who's Cockroach? Okay, now finally, the match that I didn't think we would have much to say about at all. Shodai versus Kotozakura. So, I think Mitch was right. I think Shodai is out there hunting the money. It's been a long time since he was in the final matches, so he hasn't been taking home too many envelopes. He looked at a hurt Kotozakura and thought, I could take this guy. I really could use some money. My wife will be thrilled. And he looked 10 years younger. And Kotozakura is now Kadoban. I thought maybe he was going to fight from behind, do a miracle Kachikoshi, but that is done. We don't even have these conversations now. Shodai has ruined everything for him. And John and I were kind of talking a little bit about whether we think Kotozakura will drop out. I don't think he can. I could be proven wrong, but considering his father, his father's very old school, considering, the legacy and everything else, I think they're going to make him stay in because so many of the top guys are out. It just looks bad. But if they do make him stay in, it's not going to be pretty. He's not going to have the motivation. Well, he'll get the motivation to fight the top guys, but obviously he's pretty darn hurt. So, yeah. My goodness. Now, as promised, we're going to actually look at the matchups for tomorrow live. I saved it for you guys. I have no idea what the matchups are. I thought we could have like a real pure reaction here. So all right, we'll start from the bottom. So we got a Juryo Kyoku Kaiyu coming up as a visitor against Tamawashi. These kinds of matches are the ones that typically Tamawashi excels at, really gets excited for. His momentum's on the upswing. This is a good opportunity for him to teach the youngin what it's like to be in the top division. I hope that this is a good match for him. Shishi versus Mitakeumi. This is a battle of the lost, I guess. Mitakeumi, though, he's kind of stabilized himself out. He looks calm and kind of resigned to the fact that he's down at the bottom. You know, past Mitakeumi at Maegashira 14 should be winning a Yusho, so this is a new stage for him. Shishi obviously hurt. Shishi not looking good. I expect Mitakeumi to take this match. Ryuden versus Toki Hayate. Toki Hayate looked good today against Asa Hakuryu. Both of these guys are fighting Tanako Makikoshi. Ryuden's been really a non-factor for me this whole tournament. I don't have much good to say about his sumo. It's just kind of average. Could be interesting because of the difference in size. Maybe Toki Hayate can kind of run circles around Ryuden, but Ryuden's very good at just grasping the little guys and taking them out. So could be a snoozer. I'm not sure. Look at this. So remember, this is the first time I'm seeing these matches. Ura versus Fuji Ryoga. And obviously a Yusho affecting, that's our new word, Yusho affecting match. Fuji Ryoga, as we discussed before, barely stayed in the top division this time around. Now he's looking great. He's using his size. He's full of energy, but he's going against Ura, whom Wakanosho learned today. Even if you know the playbook, Ura is a machine. Ura is the most pumped up I've seen him in a long time. So I could see this one going Ura's way. I really could. But rookies can surprise you. I'm still calling him a rookie, even though he's not brand new first tournament. Asanoyama versus Koto Eiho. Oh boy. So the odds favor Koto Eiho because he has been so dominant, so confident. And Asanoyama, as we know, if you push him backwards, he's going to struggle. However, I hesitate to call it a curse, but day 12 is where things happen. Okay, this could be a hard day for Koto Eiho. This could be a dream-crushing match with Asanoyama, but we'll see. We're also due for, matches that disappoint. And it could be like they clash at the Tachiai and Koto Eiho pulls Asanoyama down and it's done. Rogan Nishiki Fuji, both these guys are kind of not in the spotlight, we'll say. Oshoma versus Wakanosho. I'm just going to keep watching Wakanosho. I'm not going to make any predictions. It's only his first tournament, so it's just every time he's in the ring, it's interesting to see what he will do next. Okay, not a fan of the next two. This one, Abi versus Shodai, could have been a really interesting match. It is chaos versus chaos. Both men are capable of chaosing the other one, but Abi is very, very hurt. So you could expect a Henka, but Shodai can also expect a Henka. And so Abi could Henka, Shodai read it, but then Shodai decides he doesn't want to fight today and lose. Or Shodai could just manhandle Abi and just be like, I'm sorry, buddy. See ya. Hakano Fuji versus Oho. This is exactly the kind of match that Oho will show up for. So my prediction, it's not always guaranteed, is that Oho will really give it to Hakano Fuji. I still think Hakano Fuji will take this match, but we'll see. Oho he's Shodai's apprentice. Remember this, okay? And they're back-to-back matches. Oho is the spoiler guy. Oho is the guy that's having a horrible tournament and just looks like a Yokozuna for one match, and it could be against you, and it could wreck your tournament. Yoshino Fuji versus Tobi Zaru. Okay, Yusho affecting match. This is a tricky one. And this is why. Yoshino Fuji should take this match. He's much, much stronger than Tobizaru. He's very aggressive too. But Tobizaru he's sneaky and he's quick. And his reactions, as you saw today, like he's really good when he's in a pinch. So, once again, I've said it. Day 12 is the day where dreams are crushed. But in this particular scenario, either guy could have his dreams crushed. So it's a question of who will it be. My logic says Yoshino Fuji should take this. The pit of my stomach says Tobizaru will find a way. How's that for a prediction? Hiroumi Ichiyamamoto, the tale of a very similar, not similar fighting styles, but similar fighting journeys. These two are going to really go at it. And I think this slight edge goes to Ichiyamamoto. As we were discussing, I think he might make a comeback and get his Kachikoshi. Fujinokawa versus Daisho. As long as Daisho doesn't catch Fujinokawa just with an extreme blast right off the Tachiai, Fujinokawa should be able to defeat him. Daisho's already very beat up, slowing down, veteran fade, and now he's got a busted eye. Fujinokawa has taken some pretty tough hits this tournament, though. He's been knocked out pretty aggressively from the ring. So we'll see if he has his usual vigor. Don't count on a Hanka either. He might need a Hanka. We'll see. Wakamoto Haru Takanosho. This is the battle of the fades. I didn't say this in today's notes, but Takanosho clearly is not up to good shape. He's barely hanging on. Whatever's going on, whether it's the ligaments or, fatigue or something, Takanosho's barely hanging on. Wakamoto Haru, that was the case, but he's sort of having a resurgence, and that's pretty typical for him, too. He gets these second wins that don't make any sense. Could be brother power, I don't know. And then, oh boy, Wakataka Kage versus Gonoyama. The plus side for Wakataka Kage is that Gonoyama's not likely to go after the hurt elbow. It's probably going to be his normal brand of, let me try to blast him out. Of course, we've seen the adjustments that Gonoyama has made, where he's doing a lot of beltless arm grappling kind of thing. And I'm worried about the elbow for Wakataka Kage. Right up until that Atami Fuji match, he was fighting through everything. And now all of a sudden, he didn't look so good against Kirishima. If Waka can bounce back and the elbow's not as bad as I think, it's going to be quite the spirited match. If Gonoyama blasts him right out, it's going to be another tale of tragedy for Wakataka Kage, and he's just going to wish that he never saw Atami Fuji ever again. Speaking of which, Atami Fuji is breaking arms, but not breaking out of the slump. So this match might be a little mediocre. We'll see. Koto Zakura versus Chirana Umi. Chirana Umi is having an excellent tournament. His stamina has lasted a lot longer than typical. Once again, I think it's the whole Maegashira uprising. There's a lot of energy out there. Like, this is our time. This might be our only time. Let's do our absolute best, even if we're exhausted. Chirana Umi's a pretty big boy himself. Not a lot of people can go chest to chest with Koto Zakura. Koto Zakura might have beastly Ozeki powers because he'll be in a bad mood after today's loss and just take him out like he should. But Chirana Umi could surprise us. And now, probably the reason you guys keep saying don't give up on Koto Shoho, Kirishima versus Koto Shoho. This is another match. This is a typical day 12 match where Koto Shoho might really show up and mess up Kirishima's tournament. And I do believe in that. I do believe Koto Shoho is capable of winning that match tomorrow. Kirishima's pretty locked in. And I'm sure he has a plan for Koto Shoho. And a lot of times, Koto Shoho's matches end with sort of too much forward pressure and not preparing for the defensive moves. And then he footing's an issue, goes out on the edge or slips. Kirishima's wise to that, and Kirishima's really strong against that type of fighting. But Koto Shoho, he's out to prove something. Maybe he'll be just a little bit more disciplined. He's also the final match of the day, and who doesn't want all those envelopes? Okay. I did that whole spiel without looking at the chat, so you guys are probably way ahead of me. Oh, yeah. Oh, forget it. I'm way behind the chat now. Okay. Let's see. Who else may be the Dark Lord bestow misfortune upon in the dohyo? Well, that's a good question. Is Shodai up for more destruction, or has he had his quota and we won't hear anything from him for the rest of the tournament? I knew it. Of course, it would be Shodai to deal the final blow. Shodai the Grim Reaper. I very much want Kotozakura to pull out. I don't want the potential last bout of the Basho to be gimme. That's a good reason for him to pull out, actually. Like, if he's too hurt, we don't want that. We don't want him having, stake in the every other day final match of the day and he can't fight. By the way, did you guys notice they changed the way the matchups are made the last couple of Basho? What do you all think? I've been liking the new way. There's a lot more high rank bad record versus low rank good record matches the past couple Basho. I did notice that, and I think I do like it. I have to see the tournament in its entirety to see how I feel about this one, but I definitely noticed that. I was like, okay, yeah, let's reward the lower rankers. Shodai the Scalp Collector, hello Army. For Ura, a guy he's never fought before, is the best match he could have hoped for. Yeah, because he's not going to have any idea what to expect. Occurred to me a day or so ago, and now I can't unsee it, but to me, Fuji Ryoga looks like Mitake Yumi's little brother. They do have very similar body types, for sure. Today was why I have no faith in Asanayama and Atami Fuji. Hey, I mean, we go from you were wrong to maybe you were right. That's how sumo is. One day you've got it all figured out and this guy's taking the whole thing. And the next day it's oh wait, we have a 6-way playoff. Okay. Yesterday I said Hokoto Eho was lucky to be facing Oshoma while in Yusho contention, but for 6 and 5 Wakanosho, he's a very unlucky matchup. That's another thing that happens all the time, is that even if you get one good day, something bad happens to you the next. Poor Shodai, all the way back down in the middle of the schedule again. Shodai likes being in the middle of the schedule, besides not getting his envelopes. Shodai could lose if he decides he doesn't care, but I feel he'll just give Abi a trucking. Yeah, I think in this case, they've fought each other so many times, and Shodai gets a little bit of a, hey, I don't want to lose against guys that I really, really know. So I think he's going to beat Abi up pretty good. But if Abi hankas properly, Shodai will be like, forget it. Kitty showed up strong. That was a plus. My guy, Hakano Fuji, won. I've liked Hakano Fuji for a very long time, and I had to sort of step back because of him being plagued by injuries. But I'm cautiously optimistic and excited to see his sumo this tournament. It's been very fun to watch. Shodai's wife needed a new handbag. He came to collect those envelopes. Happy wife, happy life. I believe it. I 100% believe it. Hakano Fuji has struggled against Oho historically, but I don't know. Hakano Fuji looks very hungry and in good form. That's sort of my feeling on it. I mean, this is a rivalry that doesn't favor Hakano Fuji, but Oho is looking pretty lackluster. But he is Shodai's apprentice. He might show up and look the best he's looked in 3 years. It's really a toss-up. Ura can bring world peace and there's 5 likes. Shame. Are we talking about my video only having 5 likes? That is shame. I have to tell you guys, though, a lot of people showed up to the stream last night. Completely threw me off guard because our recap show got like 100 views, or our preview show got like 300 views when it normally gets 1,000. And I'm like, I guess we're out of the algorithm. And then everybody showed up last night. I'm like, we're back in the algorithm? All right, I'll take it. Just like with Toby is getting a first-time matchup, and that works in his favor. Yes. These guys love being able to surprise the new guys. Daisho was okay. What a relief. I'm thinking Daisho could totally rock the full pirate eye patch. He might have to eventually. I felt bad for him yesterday. I'm like, ooh, not the eye. Pinky Magic. It always makes me smile when Ura wins. He was pumping up. Like, you're supposed to be all stoic and everything. He was not stoic. He was showing the crowd like, yeah, I'm feeling it. And the crowd was okay with it. And I don't think the Sumo Elders will say anything because Ura sells tickets. So it's all good. The injuries in the Sanyaku were turning out to be bad luck for Fuji Seiyun having to fight the Sekiwaki like this. Yeah, there was going to be somebody who paid the price for all of this. And unfortunately, it's Fuji Seiyun. Well, then, ride that pink pony, son. The Iron Man gave everything he had yesterday. He is fighting with his heart right now because his legs don't move the way that they used to. And when somebody fights with their heart, it just makes you want to root for them. If Kotozakura shows up, he will be thrashed by Chirana Umi, no doubt. The philosopher has been on a tear. Chirana Umi looks amazing. I can't get past the fact that he's so much older than, his time in the top division. And he just seems to get better. He's getting better and better as if age is not a problem. Now, he will hit a ceiling. He will hit a point where this is as high as he can go because he just got such a late start. But man, I am looking forward to just seeing how much better he gets each time before that happens. Oh my, I am definitely behind in the comments. Okay. Well, Kitty wins easy. Kirishima might just win this whole thing out, and it's a boring snooze fest like last time. But, like I said, watch out for day 12 shenanigans. Something always happens on day 12. Fuji Seiyun wouldn't be fighting the Sanyaku at all if there were less injuries. He's Maegashira 6. I know I saw that, and I'm like, Maegashira 6? Where is it? I want to go back. I think it was tomorrow's matchup. Let me see. Where is he? Well, even Chirana Umi. Yeah. I'm like, Maegashira 6 fighting a Sekiwaki in week 2. Whoa. That is some bad luck. Koto was going to end up losing Ozeki. If he keeps playing the game of yo-yo, it will eventually bite him. So many before him have been in this situation. And Kotozakura has played the game better than anybody else. You got to give him credit for that. Actually, probably not as good as Takekeisho. Yeah, not as good as Takekeisho, but he got... I don't know. He survived not getting Kadoban. Like, Takekeisho was like every other tournament. Because he would be hurt every other tournament. Then you come back and, be in Yusho contention or win the Yusho. Kotozakura is just had a little bit of an edge on him, except he's not winning Yusho. I actually don't know how many he has. Will that show us in that thing? Or is it? Yeah, he only has one. So, I'll say at first, Kotozakura was winning the whole Kadoban issue, but he is not now. With only one title, he's going to go down as being a far less effective Ozeki than Takekeisho. Which is a shame. I mean, look at this big body. He's the grandson of Koto. Was his dad Kotozakura or his grandfather? Because now I'm getting him mixed up with Oho, who's Taiho's grandson. The point is, elite sumo family. And unfortunately, injuries are just going to prevent him from really living his sumo life. It sucks. I don't see any way to get out of it for him. Rocking with Toby, Yoshi, Ura, and Hakano Fuji with everyone I cheer for. There's so many to cheer for. You remember that Yoshi no Fuji was a new hotness, Hakano Fuji was a new hotness, and Ura and Tobizaro, we've been chilling and enjoying their sumo for a long time, unless your name is Mitch. Hi, Bob. I'm glad you're back. Chura even beat Atami Fuji, who's always his demon. Could the late bloomer star keep rising? Well, keep in mind, Tamawashi won Yusho later in his career. Tokushoryu. Who else? Why can't I think of the other first-timer guy who won? There is precedence. Even Terano Fuji going all the way down to the bottom and coming back, getting Ozeki, getting Yokozuna, all after his 30s, all after being in the bottom for a big chunk of his career. So there is precedent for this sort of thing to happen, and you love it when you see the guys who can do it. Surprising, it's the first time in a little over 2 years Kotozakura has gone Kadoban, but I wouldn't call this outcome surprising considering he's been on the edge for most of his stint at Ozeki. Well, he's got an injury that's never going to heal, so unless they can find some miracle sports medicine situation, he's just going to decline until he can no longer hold Ozeki. It's a crap deal that he's in, but at least he's Ozeki. Hello from Olivia. Hello. Thank you for being in the chat. Koto's knees look very bad. Yeah, they're getting worse. Kotozakura isn't a bad Ozeki. Being able to avoid Kadoban so many times is much better than we ever got from Takayumi or Shodai, but his body seems to be breaking down. Just imagine Kotozakura not hurt. He'd be Yokozuna, no problem. It's a sad tragedy and an unfortunate reality of sumo. I do think he's a good Ozeki for that exact reason. And he's beaten Hoshoryu and ruined tournaments for him. He's doing the things you're supposed to do when he can. And yes, it was very disappointing. Shodai at first was a good Ozeki, but it didn't last long. Takayumi was a disaster at Ozeki. He was a fantastic Sekiwake. Finally gets Ozeki after all of that effort, and it falls apart so quick. So yeah, we had Takekeisha, whom, though we loved, constantly doing the Kadoban carousel. Prior to that, we had Goedo and Takayasu doing the Kadoban carousel. Now, the only really true star that we had at Ozeki, who didn't have that problem was Terano Fuji, and the only reason is because he got out of Ozeki quick. If he couldn't have gotten out of Ozeki and gone to Yokozuna, would have been the same deal. Because, as you know, Terano Fuji would take several tournaments off, show up, and then win the Yusho. Something only afforded to Yokozuna. Tobizaro has the Tokushoryu. Somehow he won energy. Half of predicting is just recognizing patterns. There does seem to be a Tokushoryu Tobizaro pattern forming. I'm happy for Kiri, though I've always been a Hoshoryu guy over Kiri, but I love to see a good comeback from injury success story. Get that white rope while you still can, Kiri. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice if he could keep in the condition he's in and be a Yokozuna and be yet another thorn in Hoshoryu's side. One that's a long time rival since they were kids. But I do worry about his health. I'm not sure if he's got two different injuries. He's got the back and he's got the neck. Have they been solved? It looks like they have been. But we know that those are chronic injuries, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. Okay. I keep losing my place. Hold on. I was high on Atami Fuji for a second, then Waka went beast mode. Yeah, and unfortunately, he might have hurt his elbow again. All of my power to Tobizaru take my energy. We're going to just do a big sparrow bomb for Tobizaru. We're all going to just, here, I'll put my arms up in the air. Take my energy. Defeat Majin Buu. Defeat Ura. Meanwhile, injuries pull Shodai into the Joey, and he's like, ooh, a paycheck. See why Shodai is so delightful? You can never truly hate Shodai because he is For whatever he is, he's still a talented Rikishi. He just doesn't want the pressure. He just doesn't want to have to be consistent. He wants to just show up when he wants to show up. Churro won a great match today. He did. Like I said, every day he impresses me more. Be careful criticizing Kirishima. His fans are kind of nasty for my interactions with them. Well, it appears all fan bases are nasty at this point. Not me. I'm perfect. But everyone else. I'm just kidding. How many people have come at me for criticizing anything? I like Kirishima. I do worry about his physical health, but I'm rooting for him. I have no ill will towards pretty much anybody in sumo. I have my favorites, but John and I in general, we're rooting for everybody because we know everybody's dreams are on the line. Everybody's working hard. Everybody wants to get just a little bit better. And though that's not possible, we sort of have this positive feeling of like, well, let's just root for everybody to have the best thing that they can have. So if someone comes at me for criticizing Kirishima's physical health, and they're doing what internet people do. I want to see Hakuno Fuji succeed. Maybe that smack by Taro was just what the young man needed. He's got the skills to make it to Ozeki. If he can stay healthy, I could see his ceiling around Ozeki. He's always had the potential to be Ozeki skill-wise. From the moment I saw him, I'm like, he is Ozeki material. As we've seen, he might have a little bit of a rebellious streak going on. He might have a little bit of he's only, let's look at his age. We're looking at ages last time. We're looking at all the old dudes. Let's look and see how old our big friend, Hakuno Fuji is. 2003, so 23. He's only 23 years old. Look at this. What do we have to do this for? 23 years old. Yeah, he's going through a little bit of a rebellious streak. He might be in a mode right now where he's trying to I'll show you Oyakata, which is good for him. So, we'll have to see. He's got a lot of growing to do, and I hope it's growing in the right direction. To be clear, Kiri winning the Yusho isn't what will make it a snooze fest. It's the lack of competition and absence of top rankers to cover my bases so that Kiri Mafia doesn't put me on the list. I didn't mean it for Kiri winning. I meant exactly what you're saying. I meant if he wins out on day 14 and day 15 is nothing. We kind of need a day 15 spectacular since we lost all the top guys except for Kirishima. Because what are we going to do on day 15? So we kind of need this thing to go to the end, and we kind of want to play off, and we kind of want to end with a bang. And Kirishima can still win, and it'll be great, but let's hope for competition. Kiri can't afford another loss, in my opinion, with both Yokozuna and Atapo Ozeki out. I think they will want high totals to get the rope. Well, no matter what, he's got to win as Ozeki 2 times in a row. Could they deny him even if he wins 2 in a row? Sure. But I don't think they would. I don't know. I think it's been a good Basho. It has been a great Basho. I just hope it ends with the same intensity as it became. This Basho is going to be the tale of 3 different Basho. You're going to have the first couple of days where all these people injured out. And although the sumo was still good every single one of those days, but it was feeling like a foreboding. Like this whole thing is cursed and it is going to fall apart. And gradually, day by day, the Maegashira went out and did their job. And they fought as hard as they could, and they showed off all of their different skill sets. And we got these great matchups with everybody just putting their heart on the line, hoping to get something spectacular while all these top guys are gone. So it has been a great Basho, and I just hope day 15 has the same energy, because I'm all pumped up for something big. I mean, the potential for all the different scenarios here has got me very excited. I don't think Koto is bad Ozeki. I just think he's maxed out due to his weight and knees. He needs to lose weight. It would help his mobility. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to lose weight. Like, it depends on who you are. Like, the little tiny guys, they struggle to put on weight. Guys like Koto Sakura might be just a little bit too easy to gain the weight. I don't know. Takakeisho had 4 Yusho. He was a top tier Ozeki, and I won't hear otherwise. I'm with you. We do have to fight the naysayers, but I'm with you. Didn't think it was even a question. Well, I think people have started to stop questioning it now that Takakeisho is retired, now that the Atami Fuji thing is nothing. And Atami Fuji's not really living up to expectation. But who knows? I might get some serious hate in the comments after saying that. But for a long time, Takakeisho was dirt. And now, like, his stock is slowly rising. Koto Shouho is a beast, probably the most underrated performance this basho. Koto Shouho has some of my favorite type of sumo because I like that aggressive, like, we're in a brawl. We're going to see who can outlast who. I enjoy that very much. So I do want good things for Koto Shouho. Battle Hamster held the rank for 5 years or so in 3 different rope run attempts, even though they failed. Yeah. I think if you look at the Ozeki, we watched the Ozeki Sumo Salon on stream together. I think he was in a couple of lists for Ozeki stats and best performances by an Ozeki who didn't make Yokozuna. So yeah, I mean he's got some stats to back it up. You can talk about anyone you cheer for except Ura. No criticism for the most joyful man in sumo. Oh, yeah. There is somebody who came last night who's not a fan of Ura, but that's okay. Most people are rooting for Ura. I too like most wrestlers except Uruden. Yeah, I have to say of all the wrestlers, he's the one that I'm kind of like. If all those rumors are true about what he did behind the scenes, I can't really like the guy. I don't want to know stuff like that. I can't prove any of it, of course, but it's all out there and I can't get behind it. I just can't. I can't look at him the same way anymore. Thanks, guys, for telling me everything. Kiri versus Koto Shouho today will be a great match, I hope. It should be a great match. It really should be a classic match. If all goes well. I'm thrilled thinking on it. Right now, I think the closest to a guy I don't like is Shishi just for what he did to Tamawashi. Shishi has this. I had one of the live streams. Shishi is Lemmy. He has this, I'm a big guy and I'm going to do what I want. Kind of. That's how it feels. So, some of the explosive pushes of Fujinokawa rubbed people the wrong way. It's you don't have to bully the guy that much. He doesn't hold back in any way. He's not saving you on the edge. He's just kind of like the monster from the field. And if he has to hank at you, he doesn't care who you are. But I got to admit, he's looming real bad. Perhaps he thought he needed it after all. And that's the thing. If he's really, really hurt, and I give guys a pass, even though we talked about this last night, I'm supposed to be all logical and consistent about Hanka, even though I just feel how I feel. If a guy is injured, they're gonna do it. And the other guys, they gotta deal with it. I agree the quality of sumo has been surprisingly good for the most part. Oh, I think no. Hold on. Oh, no. Okay. Sorry. For a second, I thought I lost where I was. Shorty collected his wife's bag money. Time to coast the rest of the way out. I expected that to start today, but I guess because he had to collect today's envelopes. I don't see him really wanting to show up for the Abi match, but Abi is a shell of a human being right now, so he might be like, I gotta put you out of your misery, guy. I don't think Koto losing weight will help. He'll just be easier to move, and his knees being badly severely limits his mobility. I'm on that camp. I think him being big is the only thing saving him right now because it's really hard to push him. You can drain all your stamina trying to push this guy out, and then he can just get angry Ozeki mode and thrust you a couple times or pick you up. I don't know. The battle hamster sure lost weight fast. Koto should change his diet just a little. Losing even 5 to 8 kilograms would do wonders. I don't know. It's an interesting theory, and you could be right, but I don't know. I'd need a little more convincing. Koto Shoho's fight with Oho was a brilliant brawl. They always brawl. Oho, he may be Shodai's apprentice, but on the flip side, he's got this really aggressive, mean streak in him. So if you want to fight him, like if you're like, come on, he will fight you. And that's the part where I like Oho, when he really turns on and he's like, let's see who is standing at the end of this one. Like, let's just fight until our stamina is completely drained or we knock each other out. Yoshi and Hakuno Fuji will be my guys to take Hoshiryu's place while his career winds down. I can't think that far ahead yet. Obviously, Wakanosho, he just gets an automatic jump all the way up into my top 5. I want to root very hard for Asakoryu. I hope the injury isn't too bad. He is a small guy. I do love the small guys. I don't know how far he can take it, but I do love Asakoryu Sumo. I will always love Shishi. See, there will be people that do. Shishi's a polarizing figure. Don't forget, Shishi has a detached bicep. That's it. Yeah, so if he has a lower body injury plus the detached bicep, I don't know how these guys fight with injuries like that. All the Koto are doing really well except the Ozeki, but that's mostly because his body is failing him. Yeah, I mean, he's still the Ozeki. For now. Let's see if the older Koto bro can help younger Koto bro to a Yusho. That's the nice thing where here they can start working together. If you're facing an opponent that would affect your brother, you have extra motivation to defeat him. There was a rally from the Rikishi and demotion danger. Ryuden, Tamawashi, and Oshomi all picked up a win. That could be pain for Kazukeno. He might get the door shut on him. He gained a lot of weight in the last 3 years and his speed disappeared. The Koto from 3 years ago was much faster. Well, if you're in more pain and you're training less, that could be a cause for gaining more weight as well. We could have 4 Sekiwake in this basho. That would be interesting. It's been quite a few years since we've seen that. Depending on Atami, I don't know that I would bank on him. Speaking of which, has anybody heard any updates on Umeno Fuji? Anything at all about what kind of state he's in? It's so hard because the Japanese are very private anyway, and then you're trying to get this information and get it translated. So we might not hear anything until after the tournament, but I was kind of hoping to hear an update. Ura for future sumo chairman. That would upend the whole system, I'm sure. Atami I wouldn't count on. Yeah, I'm not counting on him. I'd like him to surprise me, though. It may not seem like it on the internet, but every Rikishi has their fans, at least for the Sekitori. That reminds me. I was going to say this last night, but with Hoshiryu basically out from day 2 on, so it's like he was never there. Oh, look at this. Asanoyama's Kyujo. Yes, Kyujo. I'm losing it. So, forget everything I said about a good Asanoyama match. He's not going to be there. What a shame and a disappointment. Anyway, we had a lot of focus on the Hoshiryu hatred and all that. But his Oyakata posted a message on Instagram. And it basically went into, the hamstring's not as bad as we thought. The doctor said just take him home, have him rest. He'll get through it. And basically said that Hoshiryu was gutted. That he was really disappointed, that he was disappointing his fans. This was a hard thing for him. And the love that was pouring into that comment section, whenever you're feeling like there's a lot of negativity about Hoshiryu, his fans are extremely passionate to make up for it. The messages were beautiful. It was positive. I hope he got to read some of them. I was sure he was going to be okay in that department. So yes, take away everything I said about Asanoyama. This is it. Unfortunately, a career that will never be what it was supposed to be. One of the tragedies in sumo. So when you see a bounce back like what we're hopefully seeing with Hakano Fuji, embrace it. Because most of the time it becomes an Asanoyama story. Koto Eho getting some major bracket luck at this point. Koto Eho Yusho, baby. So what that means is the signs are pointing to maybe a Koto Eho Yusho. Sucks because of what happened to him during COVID, man, the potential he once had before the suspension and injury. Yeah. The fact that, I mean, yes, it was behavioral, but we've seen way worse behaviors. Wrecked his career. That, you kind of put that on them. Kind of feel like, wow, you stole his career, guys. Thanks. Let's go, Hoshoryu. Will be here after you get healthy. Please, Hoshoryu, take all the time you need. Don't be pushing yourself in Paris. I really, like, when I read it, and of course it has to be translated, but still, the translation was good enough. It made me sad. It's like, for his Oyakata to actually say that Hoshoryu is sorry that he's disappointing his fans. You know exactly what I predicted. He was absolutely devastated. And here he is. And they also said he was in a lot of pain at the time. So hopefully the pain has gotten better. But here he is in a lot of pain, dream ripped out, and he's thinking about the fans. And his heart is broken. We got to give him some of our energy. Like, it'll be okay, Hoshoryu. You're gonna get through this. You're not gonna be Asanoyama. Asanoyama, yet another guy who was this close to Yokozuna, and bam, hello sadness. Koto Eho Yusho would make me uncomfortable. Why is that? I need to know more. How much Maegashira do we think Kiri gets? Surely he has a Tommy Fuji and Koto Zakura as his last 2 or 3 bouts. Let's look. Maybe all the haters that call him mean and such a bad person should read it. They never do. People will find the proof they need to find to match their conclusion. So they'll be like, well, Hoshoryu did this extra shove 5 days ago against this guy, and so he's a bad guy. And like ignore all the things like the awesome videos that come out of his stable, or stories about him visiting people in the hospital that he accidentally hurt, or all the videos of wrestlers laughing with him, or the fact that he cares so much. He really wants to be a good Yokozuna, but he cares so much that he gets himself hurt. That means nothing to the people who don't want to like him. They just don't want to like him, guys. Okay. Yes, Hoshoryu bowling was awesome. So was Meisei's wedding. I really liked Meisei's wedding. Confirmation bias is one hell of a drug. And unfortunately with the internet, there is endless confirmation bias. You have to make the choice that you are going to reevaluate every opinion you have every day and just make sure that it's coming from a place of open-mindedness. That it's not like somebody put it in your head. You kind of have to really know yourself and really challenge yourself, even for things that you think, no, this is definitely the right answer. You should still look into why other people think what they think and put it all together. Because it is so easy to have the internet tell you what to think. You have to actively fight against it. In no time in human history did you have such a powerful, direct thing right in your brain, making it hard for you to think properly. For people who hate Hoshoryu, no explanation is possible. For people who like Hoshoryu, there's no explanation necessary. Precisely. And then it turns into this thing where Hoshoryu haters like to make fun of Hoshoryu lovers, and make claims like Hoshiri was a god to them, or they need interventions because they care about him too much, and it gets so tiring. But the point of all of this is that if you read that Instagram post, all of the hundreds of beautiful, loving sentiment that was sent, you'll feel better. You'll be able to handle the next batch of hater comments that you see. Remember that guy who won his Yusho in the top division debut and was looking unstoppable named Takeru Fuji? Injury ruins everything. It sure does. How would you like to pay for that wedding dinner with all those big eaters? Oh, yeah, but they probably had huge sponsors. Sumo wrestlers are still very much celebrities in the corporate world. Like, even if the average Japanese person isn't necessarily a big sumo fan like they used to be, the companies love sumo wrestlers. There was probably a lot of gifting in there. The internet. This guy I've never met is the worst person ever alive. I must dedicate my entire life to being their hater. It's a strange phenomena. I actually have to work hard to not like someone. Because even if someone is doing something bad, I know that there's some good in them. And I want to focus on the good in them. Which is why I don't actively hate on Ryuden. I just can't look at him the same way. But like, there's some good in every person, and I really want to focus on the good. So I can't understand this concept of like just trashing people for no reason. Not people you don't know. Even people I know, I wouldn't trash them like that. Takeru could finally be back in July, maybe. Yes, he is making his way back up. Sumo benefits from a lot of old money and such. Yeah. It is the oldest traditional, I guess I'll say sport, but it was more than a sport. It used to be a whole religious ceremony. It's got ties from thousands of years. Nothing has changed in that respect. Koto Eiho could, at best, beat a Maegashira 5, and his sumo is just okay. It's not anything dominant or special, in my opinion. It's just, I can't put the words around it. I think it would make me... Well, we're going to have to see. I mean, he's going to get really challenged the next couple of days. And of course, to really know what kind of wrestler he is, we need the top guys back. Funnily enough, damn near everybody and their mom loved Hoshiryu prior to his Ozeki stint and subsequent Yokozuna promotion. Lots and lots of people got salty about the promotion. I don't really understand it. I just don't. Hoshiryu will always have me in the comments defending him against the haters. I enjoy calling them out for being nasty people. Don't worry, I'm sure Onosata will be trash now too because he's injured. People are mean. Oh yeah, Onosata was totally trash. That's not me saying it. When I was looking at the comments section, it's like, Onosato is a complete failure. We already know what they say about Hoshiryu. There are people saying Aonishiki got figured out, which is different. There's not quite the ire yet, but he has such a passionate fan base that sometimes the fan bases fight. But some people are just completely writing him off. That's how it is. It's like, what have you done for me lately? It's kind of funny to think about, though, because it's like, these guys don't owe you anything. These guys don't even owe you, like, you knowing anything about them. And yet you feel entitled and you feel a desire to be heard to talk trash about these guys. Uncomfortable because it feels like it would degrade the value look of winning the Yusho, the Emperor's Cup, and it makes this generation not look good because of mediocre, just okay, could not win a Yusho. I don't worry about those things because anybody can have a good 2 weeks, and that's another beautiful thing about sumo. Does that mean that Koto Eiho will be a representative of the sport for years to come? Not necessarily, but he put in the hard work for 2 solid weeks. And if he gets it, he deserves it. And if anything, it gives a feeling of, if you work hard, you can achieve things that didn't seem possible. If anybody deserved to be salty about the promotion, it's us Takakesho fans, but it feels like the majority of us became Hoshoryu fans instead. It's amazing, isn't it? We became Hoshoryu fans organically. It's not like we all said, hey, who do we need next? We just organically were attracted to his style of sumo and his journey, because his journey was a long one. He didn't get to Yokozuna very quickly. He wasn't dominant when he first showed up either. But then we get in the same position where it's like he gets the pass that Takakesho was never given. Takakesho was constantly being told, prove yourself again. Prove yourself again. Not good enough. Not good enough. And Hoshoryu got the opposite. And it's like, yes, this is amazing. We finally get our thing. And then the fans tear it down. So yeah, it's interesting. I literally saw a comment immediately on the Chris Sumo video about Onosato pulling out. I always knew Onosato was undeserving of Yokozuna. God, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. What have you done for me lately? You owe me everything. I am watching you, and so you owe me your best. Okay. It's one way to go through life. Yeah, I've seen people saying Hoshoryu and Onosato should retire. They're both washed. I had to laugh. Yep, I've seen plenty of those. I don't think this generation needs any help to not look good. Well, I'm still salty about it as a Takakesho fan. We went through some pain, guys. We went through some pain. We really did. But it's going to be righted through his students. Because we're going to get to see him with his students. But still, it's extra salty because he had to retire so young. Like, some of my saddest days in sumo have happened already. Both of them can still manage 11-4 when they're injured and operating at 60%, but definitely trash. Yeah, I mean, that's it. You could literally go on, you know, you remember that one comment we read where it was like, yeah, Hoshoryu got skill and stamina and power, but he's trash. It was comical. Wasn't there a few years ago where like 4 Yusho went to guys at Maegashira 16? Yes. And I can't even remember now. It was so fresh in my mind, and now I can't remember who they were, but it was like, I think it was for January Yusho, the bottom guy. Was one Tochinoshin coming back from injury? It's all blurry now. But yes, it was this really cool thing where Maegashira 16 guys were cleaning up. Onosato, being both the literal GOAT of University Sumo, then has the fastest rise from debut to Yokozuna ever, and a 5-time winner despite not being technically varied, but let the haters tell it. Guys, what have you done for me lately? That's how it is. A junior show from a Yokozuna, unacceptable. That's right. You could, well, can you imagine if Takakesho had made Yokozuna? The hatred we would have gotten from that. It would feel like the sumo elders would yell at everyone because they let Kotoeho win a Yusho. Possible, but I've been thinking about this. What are the sumo elders going to say after this tournament? There is a possibility with all of the injury, and there is a little bit of a precedence for this. With all of the injuries, they might just give everybody a pat on the back and say, good job stepping up. Congratulations to X. And try to move forward in a positive way. This is possible. The JSA and Yokozuna Delivery Council were practically begging Teru to sit out longer than he did. They don't have a problem if Big O and Hosh take a couple off. No, I don't think they do. They got to say a couple things, to save face, but I think they want those guys to stay. I think this basho shows how hard it actually is to pull off consistent high scores like Hoshoryu and Onosato. Look at how many are struggling even with them out. Agreed. With those guys in, there's like no chance for half this roster. I think the sheer number of injuries will prevent them from saying much about it. Agreed, especially with, you have a severe injury with Umeno Fuji. People are going to want to know what happened there. At this point, you almost forget that Hoshoryu was injured so early because so many people were injured. And there's guys who are fighting that are in no shape to fight. So I think this one's kind of a wash. Whatever happens, as long as the sumo stays exciting, I think they'll just kind of do a little platitude of, great job stepping up. We're looking forward to Paris. We're looking forward to everybody getting healthy for July. And they're not gonna criticize anybody, I don't think. We'll see. Like I said, most prognostication comes from pattern recognition. But sometimes people can surprise you. Takakeisho would Henka as a Yokozuna, and he would lose lots of Maegashira, and he would get more flack than Hoshoryu. Here's the interesting thing. People forget how often Hakuho and Harama Fuji would Henka. Because Hakuho was so dominant and so varied in his technique, and also played a lot of interesting tricks on people. Because of all of his wins, no one says Hoshoryu was a disgrace, or Hakuho was a disgrace to Yokozuna. They don't remember the Henka because the sumo was so dominant. The problem for Takakeisho would be is if he did Henka, which I would hope he wouldn't actually as a Yokozuna, only from the standpoint that Takakeisho had a lot of pride in the role. And Yokozuna was his ultimate goal that he could not reach. But Hakuho was vicious, man. Not only did he do plenty of Henka, he'd go back on the Shikiri-sen. He played games with guys in the ring. He did the worst stuff to Takakeisho. Oh, he did. Forearms to the face, slaps to the face. No one ever says he was undeserving of Yokozuna. But yet everybody else is up for criticism. I guess if you win, it doesn't matter. I think they have more of a problem when they show up unhealthy and can't perform to standards, so they should do the necessary appearances and take their time. If only we had an injury prevention system. We could avoid all of this. Some sort of okay, you can be on the injured list and come back and not lose your rank. Something. No, they forget because a lot of fans weren't even watching when Hakuho was competing. That's true. There's been quite a bit of fan turnover at this point. I also don't understand why people equate an era with a greater amount of parity in comparing automatically equals a weak era, but you see this argument too sometimes. I really do think it's hard to compare eras myself because eras are different. People are different. If Hakuho was in a different era, he wouldn't be the guy that he is or the guy that he was. He might be more similar to Hoshoryu if he was in that different era. If Hoshoryu got plucked out of his era and was put in Hakuho's era, maybe he'd be a stronger Rikishi. You just don't know. And, sometimes I don't know that the Maegashira were as dominant in Hakuho's time. They had way stronger top guys. But they didn't have all these pretty decent Maegashira who could surprise you in the middle. So, I don't know. It's fun to compare eras to some degree, but I don't know how worthwhile it is. If Takakeisho was able to take time off, he would probably have an average Kimboshi rate, and he'd Henka twice in all of his Ozeki years. And boy, were those Henkas remembered. Woo! I'm glad people are, in some ways it's okay, I'm glad they hate Hoshoryu because I don't have to hear about them hating Takakeisho. I'm more worried about Onosato than Hoshoryu with his coach talking about surgery. I don't understand why the hell they have waited so long to make this decision. They should be seeing the best docs. It is a troubling situation, and it is justified to be worried about Onosato. I think there is a scenario in which he has the same career as Teruno Fuji, or as Brains going, Nishinosaki Kisanosato. there is a very, very high chance that he goes out the exact same way. If the fair-weather fans of the modern internet saw Hakuho in person, I'm sure he would have plenty of vocal haters still. Yeah, actually, that'd be an interesting thing. Hakuho in this era where the internet is just so much more pervasive, he probably wouldn't have been nearly as loved. If the record looks good, people tend to forget what the wins looked like when judging a career. Exactly. That's why we always talk about goldfish memory with sumo. In the moment, you feel like you're going to remember all of it, but you forget all the little details of what happened. So you just look at the record and then you compare the numbers and you think you have the story, but you really are missing a lot of the story if you only look at numbers. I don't know, Maria. Koto Eheo looks like he's got that dog in him, era be damned. He does have that look, doesn't he? As the baseball commentators say, it'll look like a line drive in tomorrow's box score. Yes, exactly. Our respect to Hakuho and thank you for letting me compete at your tournament, but he would slap his opponent on the back after he would win, push his opponent back to his side, and hank it with Haramafuji. He did a lot of tactics. Now, we've had this discussion with him about him before, though. You have to see what you value. If you value winning winning is the ultimate, sign of a good Yokozuna, Hakuho did exactly what he needed to do. Because winning at all costs is what he did. If you're supposed to win but you're supposed to keep certain morals or certain principles, we could have a discussion on whether that actually happened or not. But Hakuho's philosophy was, Yokozuna Sumo is winning sumo, and he executed that. So, yeah, I'm going to say it wasn't too fun to watch him do some of the stuff he did to people, but he did get his 47 wins, 47 Yusho, I think. People act like in Hakuho's day, all the Yokozuna and Ozeki were there every basho getting double digits. No, not even close. Hakuho was just cleaning up every single tournament for a long time. Japan is a huge baseball country, so I know they have some amazing ortho doctors for knees, elbows, and shoulders. It's really confusing. I would have to think that he is going to the best doctors, and maybe the doctors have given him advice that they're ignoring. I mean, there's no reason to think they wouldn't give him the best doctors. I mean, they told Enho he should not do sumo. Did Enho listen to that? Clearly not. They're like, you can't even walk. Why would you try to go back into a sumo ring? Sumo wrestlers aren't known for listening to medical advice. Hakuho was a dog, win at all costs. He just came from a tougher generation when it was way more normal to be beaten by your seniors and coaches. And that's another reason why we can't talk about eras. Because, we can't compare eras properly. Because in the Hakuho era, and just a little bit after him, it was okay to beat people up. They turned a blind eye to it. It was okay to haze. It was okay to bully. In fact, it was encouraged because it would make you stronger and make you tougher. And then we move into the modern age and you can lose your whole career for doing it. So the wrestlers are not growing up in that dog eat dog, if I don't get here on time or if I don't sweep the dohyo right, I won't get to eat tonight. Or somebody might steal my stuff or whatever's going on. They're not going to be as tough, period. And you have to take, once again, what are these guys here for? Our entertainment? Don't their lives matter? It was a certain way at one point, which made the wrestlers very tough and very violent, including the way Hakuho fought his matches. You go into the new era and the guys are a little bit more chiller. And there's a lot less of that going on. I'm sure it still goes on, but it's not encouraged. If you turn a blind eye to it, you might get, whistleblower. These guys are not going to be Asashoryu or Hakuho. They were not raised the same way. Kind of brutal, worse than the NFL. Oh, I think sumo hazing is probably up there as some of the worst that exists. because you live with these guys. You can't get away from these guys. And the coach might join in. Sumo's probably got the worst hazing that's ever existed. And I think that's why, a couple guys died from it. A bunch of guys would run away and just quit their stable and go back home. Things were covered up and, it's not a good thing. But it produced a certain type of sumo wrestler that people like to glorify. We can enjoy the fact that sumo was amazing and tough, and these guys went through it all. But also keep in mind that the life expectancy for sumo wrestlers in their 60s in a country that has the most centennials in the world. So there are big prices to pay for all of that toughness and all of that entertainment that was given to us over the years. So I don't think it's fair to compare Hoshoryu to Hakuho. Especially when they say, he's mean. You don't know mean. Tell me you didn't watch sumo for more than a year without telling me you didn't watch sumo for more than a year. If Hoshoryu's mean, I don't know what to tell you. You're watching the wrong sport. The NFL is a cushy and high-paid collar job compared to sumo. Oh, yeah. And even worse was you couldn't really switch stables like that. It was exceedingly rare. Still can't, as far as I know. So, you are stuck living with these guys who beat you up. I think it was one of the Hawaiian guys, one of the Hawaiian Yokozuna. His face is in my mind. He passed away a couple years ago. Somebody help me here. I was reading or I was seeing an interview with him where he talked about how bad he got bullied coming up. And it made him say, I'm going to get to the top so that you cannot touch me ever again. And that is what that culture was. If you don't want to get bullied anymore, then you start. Yes, it was Akebono. That's it. If you don't want to get bullied anymore, then you get stronger than me. And then you can bully me. And it was tit for tat. You can fight back in the NFL. Sumo, you just had to take it because of the seniority factor. Now we didn't have camera footage of what happened behind the doors of a stable. Yeah, now you can't hide for long. Sumo could use a new bad boy Yokozuna now that you mention it. The vacuum of Hako is still felt for those who saw him wrestle. Yeah, it's interesting because some people would say it's Hoshoryu, but it's not. Hoshoryu is actually really friendly to all the lower ranked guys. That was not Hakuho. Hakuho hung out with the top of the top, and if you just looked at him wrong, you were going to feel the punishment. That's what happened with the whole... You can't convince me that that's not what the Takanoiwa situation was. Takanoiwa tried to be a modern day guy, and he paid the price for it. Konishiki and Takamiyama said the same thing. I'm sure because it would be the same story for all these guys. This was the sumo culture. So you can compare eras, but it's not fair. It's different people and different rules. I mean, the fact that Asanoyama lost his whole career for sneaking out to go to dinners. When these guys could hang out with gangsters and beat up people. I mean, it's stacked against the young guys in that respect. When Shishi makes Yokozuna, you guys are way too optimistic about the state of bullying in sumo. I don't think so. I am not saying that it isn't still prevalent, but I don't think it's the way it was in these other guys' time. I think it's toned down to some degree. Because you also have a lot of younger stable masters who they have that in them, but not as much. Hoshoryu is a much better representation of Yokozuna as far as his behavior outside of sumo. Way better than his uncle, too. It's funny because there was a Chris Sumo video where way early on in Hoshoryu's top division debut, Asashoryu was just talking so much crap on Twitter about Hoshoryu. and then was relentlessly calling him, and then Hoshoryu like blocked his number or something. So Hoshoryu was determined very early on that he wasn't going to be like his uncle. How about that 17-year-old that got beaten to death for trying to leave and they tried to cover it up by saying he overtrained and had heart failure? Yeah, that was fairly recent, wasn't it? Not like in the past year, but in the past couple of years. Yeah, I'm not trying to suggest it doesn't still happen. I'm just saying I don't think it's nearly as prevalent as it was, because now at least there is a stigma. You have to hide. You did not have to hide it back in the day. You'd probably get a, high five or a slap on the shoulder like, good job, you taught him. Hoshiri will make an excellent stable master one day. He's extremely friendly and likes teaching junior wrestlers. Yeah, I think he's actually a real good guy. So those are the comments that bug me the most. The ones that are like, he's mean. It's like, stop it. Just stop it. He's not mean. You can criticize his sumo, but he's not actually mean. Onosato has had a torn rotator cuff for 2 months and nobody cares. Well, that's a different topic, okay? And don't forget that Kisen Osato is from the old world. He fought Hakuho. He still very much has the old school mindset. A lot of these other guys, I think it was, so when Takakeisho got hurt right away as Ozeki and had to go Kataban, I think his coach at the time was Toki Wayama. He immediately had the thing of, we need to worry about your long-term career, and did not make him fight. He had him sit out 2 tournaments in a row. It was already starting then. Some guys have, that went through the same type of stuff, decided that they weren't going to repeat it. That's in there. Now, Hoshoryu isn't 100th of the Yokozuna Hakuho was. Nobody else is. Hakuho exuded power with his very presence. Even a guy like Kakuryu with 6 Yusho had that aura. Yeah, nobody will ever be Hakuho. I don't know that we even get the next Hakuho. I don't believe it. I believe he's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime wrestler. And he's not above criticism, but at the same time, he did Yokozuna Sumo. He was amazing to watch. Nasty to fight, but amazing. Even if he was mean, it is a combat sport, so I'm not sure what these people expect necessarily. I just think they don't like him, so they pick some things. Until Hoshoryu has that aura, he's not a good Yokozuna. Hoshoryu's working on it, okay? He's working on it. That's all I can say to you. I think it's more than just a rotator cuff. I've had that. It seems more serious, probably tore multiple ligaments. Well, he had the initial injury and then he came in and fought multiple tournaments. He probably injured it worse and worse. And yeah, there could be 4 injuries by now. Technically, Hoshoryu is the 25th the Yokozuna Hakuho was, at least in terms of Yusho. Yes, let's do it strictly on the math, because then we can keep it nice and clean. Yeah, until Hoshoryu starts winning Yusho, he's not going to be... I mean, I'm okay with the criticism that he's not Yokozuna. He's not living up to Yokozuna aura. I just don't like all the tearing down of him, because he's trying really hard and he's really skilled. He's not a sucky wrestler. Like, it'd be one thing if it was a sucky wrestler who gets slipped into Yokozuna and he's only getting 8 wins every tournament, and it's like, what has happened? Hoshoryu is just a little behind the 8 ball, as he has been his whole career. He's slowly built himself. I have hope and faith that he has the potential to get where he needs to get. Now, we've discussed injuries for so long that doesn't mean he will, but the potential is there. Also, we have to remember that sumo styles change. That is also true. Onosato doesn't have the personality that screams power, but I do think he was showing that aura a bit until he got injured. Whether he can get that back is another thing. Well, let's say they fix his shoulder and it requires a surgery. He's got to overcome surgery and get back into fighting form. The odds are getting more and more stacked against him by the day. This is a critical situation for his career. If he comes out of this, it is going to be one of those miracle stories that you hear. Now, I was supposed to look at something a while ago, and I can't remember what now. We were supposed to look at some of his matchups or something. Somebody remind me. It's already super late already, and I feel like I've only been here for 5 minutes. Mitch didn't come, so we can't talk about Kabu. I want to talk about it when he's here because I want to be able to ask questions. I have been thinking about doing another gaming stream. If I do it, it's going to be Super Metroid because I want to play Super Metroid really, really bad on stream. It's not my favorite game of all time, but I have so much respect for the game. It does so much, considering that it's just, a straight up platformer. It's amazingly put together. It's an amazing piece of art for a video game. So, I want to play Super Metroid and talk sumo. So, put that in the back of your minds. Considering that sumo is thousands of years old and there's only ever been 76 Yokozuna in all that time, even the worst ever Yokozuna can technically say only 75 others have been above them. Yes, which is also why people get so upset if somebody's not worthy of it in their mind. Keep in mind that Hoshiru has to fight strong Tachiai. I feel like the Tachiai has gotten stronger since the Hakuho time. I really want to go back and look at some old Hakuho fights just to really get it in perspective because it's been a long time now. I want to be able to analyze it and have a serious discussion about this topic, about what's different, physically with the sport. We can't control all the outside factors like how things are done. I have to work tomorrow. Long live Pinky Magic. See you later, Army. Thanks for stopping by. We can look at 12 matchups. We already did. Excuse me. We already did, Bob. But for your benefit, I'll just do the high ones. If you go back and listen to this, we did every single matchup for tomorrow, including the ones that I'm like, whatever. But for your benefit, I will just do a quick. Big matches are Kirishima versus Koto Shoho. Wakataka Kage Gonoyama, Yoshino Fuji Tobizaru, Hakuno Fuji Oho, and Koto Eho was supposed to be a great match. I went on this whole thing, but now Asanoyama is Kyujo, so we're not getting that awesome match. Fuji Ryoga versus Ura. And then we'll all be rooting for Tamawashi to stem the bleeding here. Onosato is probably not aware. People around him probably don't say you need surgery. The one thing I heard, and once again, you just don't know what's just a rumor, what's true, but I'll just tell you the rumor that I heard, was that Onosato was not highly motivated to train through the pain or to sort of fight through this thing because the exact thing that I said I was worried about before he got injured. He rose so quickly that he never faced the typical adversity that you have to face to earn that promotion. And yes, he earned the promotion. He was dominant, but it was so easy that he never got to grow in the proper way, where you have your stumbling blocks, where you have the injury that you need to recover from, where you lost hard matches that you thought were yours, where you had heartbreaks. That kind of stuff did not happen to him. So now, being at the top without too much adversity, he's getting his first taste of real adversity, and it's hard. It's hard to fight through pain. It's hard to recover from injuries. It's hard to make surgery decisions. Hoshuryu's been through so much stuff that at least we don't have to worry about him in that department. Which he probably does. Signing off with proud of Hakano Fuji showing such toughness and mental strength. Toby little man strength, though he's actually not that little anymore. Let's go, gents. It's going to be fun tomorrow. Have a good night, Army. Can't forget congrats, Shodai, the Ozeki scalp collector. Yes. Wow, I missed it, I guess. Monster promotion picture. Yeah, just go back tomorrow and listen to it if you want. If you don't want to, it's fine. Speaking of games, have you seen Gameoverse? I have not. I have no idea what that is. People say Kyoku Kairyu is Diet Aonishiki, that he's not that similar, although I can see the comparison. Like his sumo, though. Looking forward to his top division debut. The promotion picture is mostly the same, but I can post it if that's what the people desire. So, while you're doing that, I'm just going to give you a little bit of technical information here. I'm not doing a live stream tomorrow. I've got too much going on in my life, plus the tiredness factor. I'm not doing Sunday morning sumo show on day 13. Neither is John. So the next time you will see us will be the sort of live but not live recap show, which we'll be able to go through all the guys that we haven't even been thinking about, including the injured guys. That will show up sometime next week, maybe Tuesday, maybe Wednesday, maybe Monday night. I don't know. I gotta think about it, but we'll record it on Sunday, and then it's just about me premiering it with the live chat. So this is our last live stream for this tournament. I do want to do a gaming stream with Super Metroid, and we can talk more about sumo. But this is it for tonight. Oh, and we also need to talk about Kabu the next time. But I want Mitch to be here for that. So anyway, that's my spiel. When I feel like I've read enough comments or you guys just start signing off, that's it. You won't see me again until I do the game stream. Or, you'll see me typing in the chat, but I won't be able to talk to you next week. Anyway. It's weird to me that Fujinokawa is taller than Tobizaru. That is weird. Kotozakura's first Kataban that he got already on day 11. Gameoverse is a 30-minute pilot on YouTube. It's a good time. Oh, I'll take a look. She's dodging Valley Girl. Like and subscribe. Boo. Plug. Makushita promotion. Boo. Are you saying boo because I'm dodging it, or boo because you don't like the Valley Girl? Arashi Fuji. Okay. These are Makushita promotions. Arashi Fuji, Fuji Tensei, Kotokuzan, Himuka Maru, Goji Niyu. Oh, I forgot, Maria. Martial arts updates, sparring belt promotions. So, I had, we'll put it to you this way. I had some hard times in the last 6 to 8 months. So, no belt promotion. I did not do a tournament that I was going to do because I sort of lost confidence in myself. I've been struggling. I struggled for a couple months, not only with my confidence, but my skills as well. They got dull because I got an injury that took me out for just a month. But that month just put me so far behind that I just felt like I couldn't do anything right. And then I completely lost my confidence. I did not get invited to any tests. I was basically told, you're not there, you're not ready. And there's been no discussion of any further belt promotions anytime soon. So I've been working really hard the last month to train and fix the things that have gone wrong, and my confidence is slowly coming back. I'm feeling better the last couple weeks about things, but It's hard. And I'm not even doing this for, like, I feel bad for the sumos in this sense. I'm not doing this for any other reason that I like martial arts and I want to be healthy. And I feel the pressure of my rank, and I feel the pressure of performing to my best abilities. I feel the pressure of I have to get better if I want to go higher. And at the end of the day, like, it's not my career or anything. So I can't imagine what these guys go through. Juryo demotions. Okaryu, Hakuyozan, Kayo, Nishikigi. Juryo promotions. Onokatsu. Be interesting to see him back. Daiseisan, Takeru Fuji, Asasuryu, Kazuma, Kyoku Kairyu. Makuuchi demotions. Asakuryu. Hurts my heart. Tamawashi, Oshomi, Ryuden, Shishi, Tokihate, Nishiki Fuji. Boo, lost confidence. Yeah, it was the strangest thing. I was riding high for a long time. You know, even though it gets harder and harder as you rank up. But once I hit brown belt, I realized how much I suck. And I'm not trying to be like negative. It's just it's just different. There's so much more skill. There's so much more refinement. There's so much more to learn. There's so much pressure. The way class is conducted is different. Your training partners are different. It's like a whole other world. And I realized, like, I was told, but I also realized myself that, you know, I need so much more. And so I went into this like little sad place where I couldn't do anything right. And that hadn't happened to me up until that point. And I like felt like crying, and I'm like, what? Get your head into the game. Like, I used to be able to just go in and train and be completely focused, and all of a sudden I was falling apart at the littlest things. But I'm on the upswing now. I'm starting all over again, and I'm working hard, and I know the things I have to work on, and I know the things I have to train, and I'm getting a little bit stronger in certain areas. Sounds like it's time for a training arc. All right. I'll keep you updated. I'll get some good music. Sometimes I train out in my garage because I got all the stuff I need. Keep grinding. Channel Hakano Fuji. You see all he's been through. You can do it, Maria. We have faith in you. Go, Maria. Go, Maria. Go, Maria. You know, it has the benefit of me learning through struggle how hard this all really is. And maybe that's why my heart hurts so much for Hoshoryu. Because I'm like, man, I can't even imagine how much worse it is for you. When I felt so crappy for 2 months. And I'm not trying to compete or show off or anything, and it still hurt. I'm going to write down your response. Asahi Fuji is 20-0 in Ozumo. Make a prediction. Any predictions you can have for him. You can say that you called it if it happens. Asahi Fuji will be... When he makes his top division debut, he will have double digits in his first tournament. How about that? I also just got back to training myself a few days ago after coming back from a lower lumbar strain, and safe to say I couldn't find my rhythm during drills at all. It's amazing, isn't it? The rhythm is the first thing to disappear. And then all of a sudden, things that you were really good at, you start making mistakes at. And it gets pointed out. And then that's how you lose your confidence. All of a sudden, you're like, I'm trash. I'm the worst. Why am I even doing this? Like, I should quit. But then you can't quit because quitting is bad too. So you just sort of exist in this state of like, I have to get out of my sad sack ways right now. Monster, what about Omori? How's he looking for the next setup? It's that thing where the more you know, the more things you realize you don't know. I've heard this saying of black belt is just the beginning. Boy, do I know that so instinctually now. I feel that way about brown belt. And brown belt is like, yeah, that's cool. You're brown belt. But when you're a black belt, that's when the real training begins. I'm already feeling that at brown belt. Like, wow. What? I know nothing. I know literally nothing. I thought I knew something and I know nothing. And I have to learn more and more and more and more. And, so I'll know even less. It's just something. I don't know. It's been fun to challenge myself like this. I've never done anything like this in my life where I've had to really test what I'm made of. Can I overcome this extreme desire to give up because I think I suck? And so far, I've done it. It's not different. Lay the smack down. All right. I think Asakura is safe. That would be the best news of my life. It's Aomori's first Basho, and he's not getting the Yusho now, so I think 3 to Juryo at the soonest if you include this one. He's got to get a little bit stronger for sure, but you know what? He's got a great attitude already. When I was reading the interviews, he was like looking forward to fighting Asahi Fuji again. He was like excited for the competition, excited to test himself again. He's got a great attitude. Double digits in Asahi Fuji's debut noted. Yep, that's the only safe one I'm going to give you. Salute everyone. Thank you for the good conversation with positive attitudes without the nasty trashing and normal sumo comment sections. You're all winners in my book. We try to keep it positive around here, even if we get a little doomer. I have been accused of being a doomer. My apologies. 07 Sumo folks. Asakura isn't safe yet, but he has a good chance of becoming safe from other guys failing. I'm rooting for that. I don't want to lose Asakura. Omori got Asahi Fuji, and I kind of felt bad for him because he's a star that got put up against the prodigy. Better to be tested earlier so that you know how much more you have to work on. 07 Army continue being one of the good sumo fans. In what world are we living where Aqua is the only remaining undefeated Makusha Rikishi? In a world where we have a lot less recruits. Aqua is just better. All right, guys. I'm going to do the plug. And then in that time that I'm doing the plug, you can throw some more chat. But then, we all have to part at some point. Okay. So, I was totally talking to this guy, and he told me about this podcast called 42 Opinions Sumo. What's the 42 about? Can somebody explain the 42? Well, anyway, I turned it on, and I realized it's the greatest sumo podcast in the world. I have no idea what they're saying, but it just sounds good, and it just sounds really informative. So if you want to listen to the best, the absolute best sumo podcast on the internet, please go to 42 Opinions Sumo and comment, and subscribe. You will not be sorry. How is that? I just off the cuff decided to just make a little dialogue to make up for my poor southern accent last night that I feel so bad about. Asakura, I see the hearts, so I guess it was okay. Asakura got 3 wins at 7 West. -9 puts him at 16 West. Okay. Dicey. Enjoy the rest of the Basho. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend for everyone in the U.S. You too, Army, especially you. Thank you for your service. Best wishes to all those in your life. 4-day weekend. Woohoo. Yes. Omori got the highest score on the back strength test. Interesting. Very interesting. So Asakura is basically guaranteed safe. I hope so. W plug. I stayed just for the plug. I'm glad. You have the Valley Girl down. Thank you. Always makes me smile. See, the reason I always do the Valley Girl is because it's ingrained in my brain. And so at 11:30 at night when I have nothing left, I can't be doing some of the other voices because they require some thinking. The Valley Girl requires absolutely no thinking, as you would expect. Whatevs. If only there was some explanation for why it's 42 opinions. Hey, you guys should look at the origin video if you haven't already. I know you guys were there, but anybody who was not at that live stream, why don't you go and check out the origin story of 42 opinions? It's quite great. So I guess that was good. Valley Girls a win again. I can't fathom why the channel name is 42 opinions. Video officially liked. It's a mystery to everyone. YOLO OMG like. We need the likes, guys. We need the likes. We had a lot of people check out the live stream last night, and I'm like, boy, they were probably like, what in the is this? So now they'll know. They'll know that it's just a channel run by a couple of nerds that like to have fun, that also really love sumo. All right, so I'm getting extremely tired. It's 11:30 at night. Once again, I'll just go through it. Doing a recap show, recording on Sunday. It will premiere sometime next week. The video will not be live, but I will be in the live chat, so you guys can talk with me, but it'll just be through typing. Sometime soon after that, I want to do Super Metroid gaming stream, where we will talk more sumo. We still have our guest, the Bonzuke, that will be coming up. So you're going to see more of us. It's just for this tournament, it's a wrap for the live streams. Thank you, Monster, for always giving us the promotion to Motionless. For all of us who can only follow the top division, it's appreciated. Yes, we get all of our names through your demotion promotion list, like people to watch out for. Should I start hating or being great? That's the question. Are you going to go out there and put some comments out there? Yes, we will play the hate or great game as well. Oh, it's hate, great, or meh. We're going to play the hate, great, or meh game. We can probably do that during the gaming stream, because that's a non-serious thing, but at the same time, it's still sumo talk. Ooh, Hakaku, hate or great quotes. We're definitely doing Hakaku edition, because we were kind of testing that one out, and it didn't work out last time, but now I have ideas. And you know Hakaku's going to say a ton of stuff after this tournament, so we're going to have fun with Hakaku comments. Yeah, so hate or great sounds better. Sorry, Maria. Fine. We can change it to hate or great if you really want. The name has been overruled. Fine. I give the people what they want. We will play hate or great. Hakaku edition during the Super Metroid live stream. Get your minds together for it. Be prepared. And I'll find some good quotes. All right, guys. Thanks for coming and chatting with me as always. I hope the rest of the tournament is awesome. I will be posting like crazy in the post section. That's what I do when I'm not live streaming. So if you want to see my thoughts on matches or you want to chat with me, just go check out the post section. Apparently that does give you engagement for your channel, and one of my posts has a lot of views. So feel free to interact with the post section as much as possible. I can always read Hakaku words if I need to be depressed. Or if you want to laugh. We can laugh at absurdity. I want to find Asashoryu comments towards Hoshoryu. That would be fun. Actually, we need an Asashoryu hater great as well. You guys would be so impressed by some of the things he said to Hoshoryu. I know I can find them because they were on Twitter, back when it was Twitter. So anyway, prepare to be displeased. Hit the likes. That's right, guys. Before I peace out of here, hit the likes. Like, comment, and subscribe, because like there's 42 guys on here. So like we need at least like 42 likes, right? I mean, is it too much to ask for 42 new subscribers? I think so. Later, friends. Stay frosty. Deuces. Asashuri would be a fun episode too. Stay tuned. We're getting an Asashuri episode as well. All right. Later, guys.